Good morning, grade 7 students. In this session, we're going to continue with our chapter about the green plants. This is part 3 for semester 3, week 30. So we study about the plants that the green plant, they are the plants that contain the green pigment or the pigment which is called the chlorophyll. What did you say about the chlorophyll? It's the pigment in the green plants that absorbs sunlight and makes the plant green. So we said that the green plants, they are called chlorophyllc plants because they contain the chlorophyll, while the non-green plants, they are called non-chlorophyllc plants. Regarding the green plant, they have four important nutritive needs. What do the green plants need? First, they need water. Second, they need mineral salt. As we said before, we said that the mineral salts is present in the mineral water, while the distilled water is lacking minerals, meaning that it does not contain minerals. Part 3 or number 3, it's the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, the formula is CO2. So with CO2, the plant grows normally. It grows tall, it grows green in color, and it has normal grass. However, in the absence of carbon dioxide, what do we call the substance? By raising your hand for sure. What do we call the substance that is used to absorb carbon dioxide? Who can give me the name of this substance and its symbol? What is the name of the substance that is used to absorb carbon dioxide? Yes, Lin Khalifa. What do we call the
Potassium,
substance that is used to absorb carbon dioxide?
potassium hydroxide,
Potassium hydroxide. Can you give me the symbol of potassium hydroxide?
KOH.
Very good. So KOH. This is the potassium hydroxide. It's used to absorb the carbon dioxide. So whenever we have KOH, it absorbs the CO2, meaning that we don't have CO2 in the medium. Very good, Lean. Thank you. And the fourth important need for the green plants, it's the light. It's number 4. So number 4 is the light. So we have 4 important nutritive needs for the growth of the green plants. First, we have the water. Second, we have mineral salts, carbon dioxide, and light. Now we are going to start with this experiment. Observe the following performed experiment, then answer the following questions. In this experiment, we have 3 tubes. Tube A, Tube B, Tube C. In these tubes, we have water and we have the clay. Clay is used in order to prevent the vaporization or the evaporation of the water. So it prevents the sunlight to evaporate the water. And in tube A, we have only water. Tube A is said to be the control tube. I told you about this before. This is the control tube. Who remember what is the role of the control tube? Why do we use a control tube? We talk about this in digestive system. Yes, Razan. What is the role of the control tube?
Yes, it is used to compare the results
Excellent.
in
It's used to
experiment.
compare and explain the experimental results. Very good. So it's used to compare the experimental results. Here we don't have plants. In tube A, no plants. Okay? In tube B and tube C, what do we have? Tube A, we don't have anything unless water. After 2 days, the level of water, it stays the same. So the level of water, it doesn't go to a lower level. Whenever we say it goes to a lower level, it dropped. It dropped to a lower level, meaning that the level of water, it stays the same here. So what do we call the tube A? Tube A, it's called the control tube. What do we mean by the control tube? It's used to compare and explain the results. So this is the role of the tube A. In tube B, we have the plant. And this plant in tube B, it contains the roots and it contains also the stem. So this plant, it has the roots and it has the stem. After 2 days, the level of water here, it moves to a lower level. It drops to a lower level. The amount of water decreases. What can you deduce from this experiment? Who can tell me? Whenever we have the plant in tube B, the level of water, it decreases. It drops to a lower level. What can you deduce here? What is the deduce here? Yes, I need other than Razan, other than Khalifa. I want to give the chance for others to join. Yes, what do you think about this? Yes, Huda, what do you think in tube B? What is the conclusion?
The green plant is absorbing water.
Very good. We have a plant, so the level of water, it drops, it decreases, meaning that the green plant, it absorbs water. Very good, Yahuda. So the green plant absorbs water. If I told you I want to compare first between tubes A and B. In tube A and B, Lin Khalifi, or Lin Shibani, sorry, let's move to Lin Shibani, the other lane. So Lin Shibani, what do you think about the variable factor between tubes A and B? Don't look to the results. Here, don't look to the results. Only look at the beginning of the experiment. What is the variable factor between tubes A and B?
Roots.
Only the roots between tube A and B. In tube A, do we have a plant?
No.
In tube B, what do we have?
A plant.
So what is the variable factor?
A plant.
Very good. So this is the variable factor. In tube A, we don't have plant, while in tube B, we have a plant. After 2 days, thank you, Lynn. After 2 days, what happened? The level of water in tube A, it remains the same, while in tube B, the level of water, it decreases. It drops to a lower level. So compare the level of water in tube A and B at the end of the experiment. In tube A, the level of water stays the same. However, in tube B, the level of water, it decreases. Let's now move to tube C. Tube C, we have a plant and we have a stem. If I told you what is the variable factor between tubes B and C, I want those who are in the silent mode to participate. Yes, Hassan Jradi, what do you think? What is the variable between tubes B and C?
Roots.
Very good, ya Hassan. Excellent. Why did you say the roots?
Because in tube C there is no roots.
Very good. While in tube B, what do we have?
We have roots.
Excellent, ya Hassan. Excellent. Very good. So in tube B, we have roots, while in tube C, we don't have roots. So the variable factor is the roots. Very good, ya Hassan. Excellent. Let's move now to the results in tube C. In tube C, the level of water, it stays the same, or it decreases, or it increases after 2 days. What do you think, Ali Basma? In tube C,
It stays the same.
it stays the same. Very good. So the level of water, it stays the same in tube C after 2 days. Very good. So here, when we have roots, the level of water, it decreases. While when we don't have roots, the level of water, it stays the same. Larissa, what do you think? What is the part that is responsible for the absorption of water? Which part of the plant absorbs water? The roots or the stem? What do you think?
The roots.
The roots. Why? Can you explain this? Why? Can you explain it?
Can I try?
Let's give the chance for others. Yeah, next turn is going to be yours. Yeah, next turn. We're going to move around all the students. Let's move to Talin. Thank you, Larissa. Talin, what do you think? Which part of the plant, the stem or the roots, is responsible for the absorption of water? What do you think?
Roots.
Roots. Can you explain this? Yes. Can you explain this? great, great. Ali Khalife, what do you think? Why did they say that the roots is responsible for the absorption of water? Yes, silent mode students. Yes, I need your voices. I need your answer. So why do you think that the roots is responsible for absorption of water? They said the roots. Do you agree?
أستاذ
Because
Yes,
she
Ali
take the
Khalifa.
water to the plant.
Because
Because she take the water
well,
to the
she
plant.
take first of all, it takes the water from the plant. And then we don't have to use the word takes, ya Ali. You have to use the word absorb.
Okay.
Which plant absorbs?
Plant B.
B, it absorbs. Okay, so what do we have in plant B? We have roots or not?
We have roots.
So the roots is responsible for absorption of water. Thank you, Ya Ali. Let's move now to Hassan Saleh. Hassan Saleh, if I ask you, Ya Hassan, what is the role of the roots? هيدي conclusion, the big conclusion in this experiment. What is the role of the roots? شو بيعملوا الروتس يا حسن؟ What do they do?
أستاذ the roots يعني
Yes.
هي الأساس.
The roots,
أستاذ
it absorbs what?
absorbs the water.
Absorb the water. Very good. Absorb the water from the soil. Very good. This is the first part. In this experiment, we said that the roots. Now, we're going to move to the parts of the root and which part in specific will absorb. Before we move, we have some questions. We have to answer them. First question, and these they are on the notes. You have to copy them, and you have to copy the question in addition to the answer. Not only the answer, the question and the answer. So compare tube A to tube B at the beginning of the experiment. What is the role of tube A? Compare the level of water in tubes A and B at the end of the experiment, and what may you conclude? First of all, both tubes A and B, they contain water and they are covered by clay. Tube A, there is no plant, while tube B, we have a plant. What is the role of tube A? Tube A is said to be a control tube. So always whenever a tube that has no variable, it's control tube or control experiment. What do we use it? What is the role of the control tube? It's used to compare and explain the experimental results. Part 3, they said compare the level of water in tubes A and B at the end of the experiment. Level of water in tube A, it remains the same. What did they say here? I mentioned the variable factor. This is the variable factor without a plant. While in tube B, containing the plant, the level of water, it drops to a lower level. What may you conclude from this experiment? That the green plant, we don't have to say the word takes, we have to use the word absorb. So green plants, they absorb water. This is in only tubes A and B. Now let's move to tube B and C. Variable factor between tube B and C. Yes, Hassan.
I want to say أستاذ شجرة التين
Yes.
هي صغيرة لازم نشربها.
Yes.
بس لما تكبر مش لازم نشربها، إذا شربناها بتموت.
بتخرب. Some plants they do so. Some example about this also the olive one. There are some
عشان
examples they are
الشوش
special.
بياخد مي.
Yes,
بيترك
exactly.
مي قبل لا تكبر.
Exactly. Very good, ya Hassan. Very good. Very good. So what is the variable factor between tube B and C? The variable factor between these two tubes, we have roots. As you said before, compare the level. So level of water in tube C, where the plant does not have roots. So here, always in the compare, we have to mention the variable factor. In tube C, where there is no root, the level of water, it remains the same. While in tube B, where we have roots, roots, what the meaning of depth? Meaning that they are placed in water. Depth in water, the level, it drops. So what structure is responsible for the absorption of water? When we have roots, the level of water decreases. When we don't have roots, the level of water, it stays the same. So which part, which structure is the roots. So in this experiment, we said that the roots. Let's move now to further indications and further look to the roots of the plants. If we have a close look to the plants, we have two important parts for the roots. First part is called the root cap. This is the root cap at the end of the roots. It's called the root cap. Root cap. However, we have another important part. It's called the root hairs. Root hairs, these are the root hairs. These root hairs, they are like hairs. They have hair-like structure. So these are the two important parts for the roots. The first one is called the root cap, which is at the end of the root. And the second one is called the root hair, which like hair structures, like this. These are the root hairs. These are the root hairs, and they have a hairy-like structure, like small hairs. That's why they are called root hairs. Why at the end we have the root cap. So now, which part of the roots absorb the water? Is it the root cap, or the root hairs, or even both of them? First of all, Larissa, our Laris, let's move to Laris now. Laris Shab, Laris, which part of the root cap or the root hairs or both? Before we answer this question, Laris, I wanna ask you a question. Do the plants
Yes.
need water to grow, or do they need oil to grow?
They need water to grow.
Excellent. They need water. So let's move to this experiment with together, Laris. We have two plants, plant 1 and plant 2. Both tubes, they contain oil, which is clear here, the yellow color, and contains water. As you know in physics, oil and water, they are called immiscible liquids, meaning that they are two liquids that do not mix according to the difference in density and so on. So here we have two liquids, oil and water. In plant 1, this is the root cap, and these are the root hairs. What do you think? The root cap and the root hairs, they are in water or in oil in plant 1?
They are in water.
What happens for
water.
the plant? It grows
It grows well, tall and green.
tall and green, ya Ali. Thank you, Laris also. Moving now to Zahra Dia. Moving to experiment or the tube 2, ya Zahra. In
Yes.
plant 2, also we have in the tube, we have oil and we have water. So what do you think? The root cap is in water or in oil?
It's an oil.
Root cap.
No, it's water.
This is the root cap. It's one in water.
Water.
While the root hairs, ya Zahra, they are found where?
An oil.
In oil. What happened for the plant?
It
died.
It withers and finally it will die. So here, first of all, we have to know which part, ya Rihab, absorbs the water, root cap or root hairs? What do you think, ya Rihab?
Yes, it does.
Which part, the root hair or the root cap, absorbs the water?
The oil,
The oil absorbs the water. Which part of the plant absorbs water? Is it the root cap or the root hairs?
root hairs,
Why?
Hairs.
Justify your answer. What do you think, Fatima Fattah?
Yes.
Which part, the root cap or the root hairs, absorbed water?
The root cap.
Root cap absorbed the water. Okay, what do you think, Asil? Asil Haider, what do you think?
root cap.
Root cap absorbed the water. What do you think, Amal
I
Saad?
know the root. But can I?
Yes. Yes, Ali. Can you answer this?
Yes. The
Yes.
root hairs.
The root hairs. Why?
Because in tube one, when
Yes.
the root hairs were when the root hairs were in water, the
Yes.
plant grows green and tall.
Very good.
While in tube two,
Yes.
when the root hairs were in oil, but the root cap was in water, it didn't grow and it will die. It
Very
didn't.
good. Very good, Ya Ali. That's it. Razan. Thank you, Ali. Razan, what do you think if I ask you what is the variable factor here? Can you tell me the variable factor here? What is the variable factor here, Razan? Yes, you can unmute yourself. Razan, what is the variable factor?
Yes. Um,
It's somehow here, it's a little bit difficult here, the variable factor. So I'm going to answer this. The variable factor in this experiment, thank you, Razan. The variable factor here in this experiment, which part is found in water? The root cap or the root hairs? Here we have root cap and root hairs, both of them, they are in water. While here, the root hairs, they are in oil, and the root cap in water. So here is the variable factor. So here, in this experiment, the variable factor is the part of the root hair or the root cap. What the meaning? Dip. Dip meaning that is found or placed in water. Distinguish the conditions to which both plants they are exposed. In plant 1, we have that the root hair and the root cap, both of them, they are in water. It grows normally. While in plant 2, we have the root cap in water, like the first, but the root hairs here, they are in oil. What happened? The plant withers and dies. So here we have to know that in plant 1, root hairs and root cap, both, they are in water. But in plant 2, the root hairs, they are in oil, but the root cap is always in water. Analyze. So after dipping both the root cap and the root hairs in water, the green plant, it grows. While after dipping the root hairs in oil and the root cap in water. So root cap in both cases can be water, while in the second plant, the root hairs, they are in oil. That's why the green plant, it withers. شو معنات withers؟ معناتها مثل wilts، يعني تدبل and finally it will die. So draw out a conclusion. Which part of the root they are the root hair? First, حكينا أن the roots is responsible for absorption of water. Now we move deeply. We said that the root hairs are responsible for absorption of water in green plants. So the root hairs, they are responsible for absorption of water in green plants. And this is the conclusion here. So in this session, what did we explain? In this session, we explained the part of the roots, and also we said that the roots, they absorb water. First, we said that the roots absorb water. Second, we moved into the parts of the root cap and the root hairs. Yes, Zahra, do you have a question or you want to answer something before? Okay, Zahra, we'll leave the question till the end, okay? So root cap and the root hairs, both of them, they are the parts of the root, and we identified that the parts of the root that are responsible for absorption of water, they are the root hairs and the root cap. So as a conclusion, the root hairs in the plant, they are responsible for absorption. For example, if I ask you as a hint now, what the meaning of interpret? Let's remember this together. Interpret. Who can tell
Analyze
me?
it plus.
Raising your hands, please. Yaslin Khalifi.
Analyze plus indicate.
Very good. Analyze plus indication. And the indication, it should be specific for the experiment. So interpret, analyze plus indication. So if I ask you interpret, it means analyze. And at the end, you have to add this indicates that. So this is the interpret. So pay attention to this. If I ask you interpret, you have to do analyze plus indication. If you did analyze without indication, you won't get the full mark. So pay attention to this important note about the interpret.